A couple thousand years ago, the first Jesus Revolution, if you watch the movie, that's not the first Jesus Revolution, by the way. The first one happened 2,000 years ago, and it came to Italy, but eventually took a form that utilized the gospel not to build up people in their spiritual needs, mental health, and physical, as I shared above, but for political power, for might, and control over the true power of the gospel, which is really to reconcile people back to God and help them walk in newness of Christ. So this is why Karina and I and Evelyn, we're serving in Italy for the past 7 years, and plan to return for another term of service in our church, which is called Ponte di Speranza, which means the bridge of hope. So, okay, awesome.
It's all there.
Yes, okay. So we are located in our city, which is called Mestre, up next to Venice. It is kind of the sister city. Cities and localities have a different kind of concept than here in the States, but Mestre and Venice are the same municipality and have the same mayor even. So please follow along as I share a passion for connecting the people of Italy to the gospel. Before it was us as evangelists to something, but now it's through our church, like you guys, because it is the church that bears witness to the community, not just a pastor or a few key people that we often say have evangelical gifts. It's the whole church that witnesses. And as I move on, a gentleman who just went to be with the Lord, Tim Keller, was often very keen in saying the greatest evangelistic method is planting new churches. It's not new programs, new ideas, the latest pizza parties, those things are all good. But it's planting new churches, because that new church usually has a passion to share the gospel. Unfortunately, churches get older, they do good things, but that kind of fades. So always keep that in mind and realize that you are partnering with us to plant this church next today. So if could you go back really quick just for a second. So yes, so that's where we are, and I'm just to keep my thoughts for a second. And this is our family, minus one other daughter we have, and that's our daughter Diana's husband. They're having a baby very shortly, in 2 weeks. So we're going to be grandparents. You say non-me. And then that's our other daughter, Karen. She's 21. She's at Liberty University in her 3rd year. And then little Evelyn, who's next door. So, and she is a true Italiana, Americana. She's grown up in Italy since she was now 2-3 years old. Speaks both languages easily, and also Spanish. Her mom speaks Spanish. So, okay, you can. So this is church planning, kind of what it looks like. Again, I do preach in Italian, preach both through Zoom and then to the church with the folks that are in front of us. We do have done events like sports camps. We do mingle with different parents in the community. These are not all believers. There's a few scattered in there, and others are people we're reaching out to continuously with the gospel as the Lord allows us to. So that's this concept of church planning, and it's a lot harder than I thought. I really admire Chuck and Kathy. All these years they have been doing some form of this, both in New Jersey and here in Florida. And it seems kind of simple. It seems kind of like, you just have a little Bible. The old saying like, oh, I had a Bible study in my home and it grew from 5 people to 5,000, But between there, kind of like the dashes on a cemetery, there's a lot going on there, And we've learned that the hard way and the good ways, and especially in one's second language. It's a big challenge. So this is a little taste of it. We have a men's breakfast we use to reach out to men and also to grow the guys that we already have. We don't have as many guys as you have here, so pray for that, please. We reach out to families like this and celebrate with them when only one in there is really coming towards the Lord, and we work to help the others kind of see their need for Jesus. So you can go on for me. This is women's ministry. It's really big there in our church. I realized very early on that Karina was probably going to be way more valuable in this venture than me personally. Not only because she speaks great in multiple languages, how she connects with ladies, and how she displays the love of the Lord. And here we have like a ladies' tea that we do in our home. We have neighbors that we spend time with. Here was a Christmas kind of craft thingy that they did in our house. And then these ladies up here, this is pretty amazing. This door is opened in the last year. They are from Kosovo, so not Italians. This is mostly Italians, mostly Italians. But these are Kosovoans, and Kosovar, or Kosovo. And those folks are primarily Muslim. Not always practicing like in a lot of countries in faith, but they're primarily Muslim. And so now Karina has this direct connection with them through one lady here who was a believer. She actually came from Calvary Chapel in Kosovo to Italy 5 years ago. And they come maybe because they are the immigrants like in America that come to do the hard labor. So the Italians aren't really doing, they might have come to America to do hard labor, but in Italy they utilize a lot of Eastern Europeans. Yes. So their husbands are doing the construction work there in the building. So, but the thing is they don't speak Italian really that well. They speak Albanian is their language. So Karina works with this, even though she speaks Spanish, Italian, English, and so much Portuguese, she has to work with this lady when she speaks with them because they need a translator in Albanian. And she speaks so much more English than Italian. So Karina has been ministering to these ladies in their home, wherever she meets them. And this lady, a few weeks before we came here to the States, in mid-June or mid-May, she gave her life to the Lord, right in our kitchen. And this is the Bible in Albanian language, which we didn't even, that wasn't even on our radar to do ministry in a third language. So praise the Lord, because we never know. We have to stay organic, as they say. Right. Keep, Chuck loves to say, going with the flow, right? Going with the flow, the way the Lord wants us to go with the flow, but being open to like, oh, I can't do that, that's this or that. No, the Lord provides, He provides a way. This Bible was in our house for 5 years, and I didn't even know what language it was. And one day, I look at Korea and I said, you know, we got this Bible. Now that I'm hearing their language, might this be it? And she's like, that's it. Because they had been using their phone Bible, like the U version. So we even had it in our house and didn't even know it. That's how amazing the Lord is. Okay, go next. We came to Italy with our mission agency team, which is a good mission agency, but we needed to learn from other church planters, couples, families that were doing what we're doing. Not all missionaries do. So we joined, we were told or directed to join Acts 29. It's not Calvary, but it has a similar network. Even though we've been in Calvary Chapel since we got saved in the late 90s. And it's out of Dallas, the original Acts 29, but it's global, kind of like another network of churches, Bible churches. And in Italy it's called Impatto, which means impact. So the branch of Acts 29 globally is Impatto in Italia. And these are all Italian church planners, that's us there. But these are men and women that, again, like a lot of Calvary Chapels, they're bivocational. They have their full-time jobs, and then they church plan or they pastor with their spouse. So this is cool. This is very important for us because it gets us in the mode of church planning the Italian way, because it's very different than the American way. You could go to the next one. Yeah. And this is our church. It's not a mega church, but it's getting there in the Italian way. It's slowly but surely. And this is the conference room we needed. It's in a medium-sized hotel in the middle of our city. We have a few folks that weren't there that day. But this is what it's growing to. When we came, it was like less than a handful of people. A couple even left right after we got there. And God slowly is forming it, giving us roots. And we have a mixture of Venetian, Sicilian, one lady, she's from Sardinia, if you know Sardinia. So actually our church has a mixture of Italian. And then here's again the lady from Kosovo. And she is an amazing evangelist, like Karina again, invites people all the time to come to church. Really, I've run, okay. So here, this is what they kind of call the headache slide, because there's a lot of words, but I'll go through it quickly and conclude here. But this is our mission in planning Ponte di Speranza. We did not go to, this was not on our radar, we didn't know what we were going to do yet, but it was handed to us, and we're taking it for the last few years. These are the needs we're addressing, reaching the lost. It's kind of a challenge there. Biblical clarity and depth. People need that come to faith, because there's a lot of, just like here, false understandings, false teachings, and misconceptions of who is Jesus. How to use the Bible, introducing them to how to use their Bible. Observation, interpretation, and application of the word. We teach them that. And the importance of God's truth over the lies of this world. This is big for all of us.
Yes.
We tend to believe. I spoke to a gentleman the other day who thinks a believer cannot be deceived. That's a statement in itself, A believer can be deceived. If they think they can't, they're already being deceived. Otherwise, we wouldn't need the Bible, first of all. So people need discernment, because that's where the spiritual warfare is. There's the fruit of the flesh and the fruit of the Spirit.
Amen.
And we need to be following the Lord and His truth to have to see the fruit of the Spirit in our lives. And that's our desire for our people. And then we're planning a church that reproduces disciples and that will one day reproduce other churches.
Amen.
This concept is very important, and it's very big now in modern Christianity. It's not the mega church model where you just keep building something bigger up where you are, like one big tree, but it's more planting more healthy trees around that might not be as big, but they are very vibrant and very able to reproduce on its own. So it's not just one or two people in a church that reproduces. It's seeking that everybody would. Could be look different in each life. Our vision, a network of reproducing life-giving churches that glorify God through Jesus Christ. Mestre-Venezia and Marghera. That's like our tri-city area. So, like in New York, I forget what it was. Well, tri-state area in New York. But like, kind of like that. In Dallas, we have Dallas, Fort Worth, and Irving, tri-city. So this is what we have. It's a smaller version. It has about 300,000 people. That's besides tourists. We probably have way more than that, but we're not targeting tourists in general because we want to grow with people. And yes, and our strategy is to consistency in our church plant through what you guys pretty much do: Sunday service, midweek Bible study, and prayer time, and one-on-one discipleship is very important, and counseling. And then future initiatives. We're going to reach out through online presence. You guys have that already. That's something we've been working on, and we hope to get out when we go back in the fall. We'll finally be online with a website. Again, our men's breakfast. This is big in my mind because, guys don't always come for things, but they come for food. Yes. So, and Italians don't eat breakfast like we do. They eat just like a sweet thingy, like a donut here. It's their version of a donut. So when you give them eggs and sausage and other things, bacon, they kind of, oh yeah, I want to try that. Because they don't usually eat it, Italians. And then education seminars related to family education. The family is crumbling everywhere in the world, and it's big in Italy. The couples that we know that are in Evelyn school, they're about our age, which surprised us. They have children much later in life. And then they're not even married, a lot of them. They're just fidanzati, they call themselves, kind of like fiancés. And they don't even commit to marriage. And then the ones that are committed, marriage is more of a practical thing than an enduring covenant of love. So we want to teach them, especially the lost. This is what marriage looks like in God's eyes. It's very important. And and that we endure in it, and our faith helps us grow in it, because it's not easy. And then, what did I have for the last one? Long-term plan. Okay, so this is our final one we're working on. We have a lot of college stuff there too, some significant universities, and we want to reach out to them. Don't know what that looks like, but please pray about that for us. We would have younger people come, because Italians don't really want to talk. Younger Italians only want to talk to probably like here, a lot of older people. Not that we don't have wisdom, but that some folks would come. And yeah, thank you guys for being with us on this journey. We are connecting with people really to the gospel. And just a final, this is, so you have a visual, a lot of us like visual. This is the tribe. Mestre, we live right about there. Marghera, this is a port. It's an industrial area. And then this is Venice, if you know Venice, the islands. Kind of looks like the shape of a fish. And Ponte di Speranza, as you see, has the name because Jesus is the bridge of hope to God. He is God. And then Venice is the land of bridges. Because you got one big bridge to get to it, and then it has about 426 bridges just on this island to connect it to all the little ones. So it's not one landmass. So thank you guys. Thank you, Chuck, for... And we have our prayer card over here, if you'd like to take one and pray for us. We know you guys are partnering with us as a church, and we are still raising so much support. So if you'd like to get our newsletter, if you'd like to know more how you can partner with us and what we're doing, please, just ask us. And really, in closing, my biggest heart for you guys is to know that we are all on mission. Until the Lord calls us home, and whether it's here in Homosassa, Citrus County, whatever, the Lord puts in your heart to do for His glory, just take that step of faith and act on it, and you'll be amazed. I never thought I'd be doing this. Corinne and I never thought this would be our future life. And God's just so amazing how He equips us on the way. So thank you guys.